Today, I want to give my perspectives to one of the most important or most frequently asked questions to me. And that question is, what is marriage really? Most people, most of us, including you and me, right, we would have entered marriage with a hope that it will bring companionship, it will bring understanding, and it will bring a sense of togetherness. And it is true. This is what we expect when we get into marriage. But over time, most of us, we begin to ask a different question. Why is this marriage so difficult? And sometimes, even quietly, we wonder, is this what I expected? No, I did not sign up for this, right? So, in that case, when we are in that space of confusion, it's important to ask a question. What is marriage really? Hello, I'm Mahalakshmi Sampson, and in this video, I would like to reflect on what marriage asks of us beyond what we usually see. When we think of marriage, we often think of, think of few things which is very common, like living together, raising a family, building a life, and all of this is true. But over time, right, I have come to see marriage in a slightly different way. Perhaps marriage is not just about living together. Perhaps it is about choosing each other again and again in both the highs and the lows. Not just when things are easy, but especially when they are not easy. Because every relationship goes through phases, different phases. And these phases would include moments of closeness, moments of distance, moments of understanding, and moments of misunderstanding. And in those moments, what we really choose matters. And you may be thinking, you don't know, Maha, what am I going through? My life is real mess. My situation is really different. My relationship is not simple. It is so complicated. And believe me, that may be true. Because every relationship carries its own story. And if you take me, I've been married for over 3 decades. And like many marriages, mine has seen its shares of highs and lows. And we raised 3 children, cared for a mother in law who struggled with schizophrenia for 4+ decades, and a father in law who lived with Parkinson's. And through all of this, and also through the years of working closely with people, I have seen how relationships can unfold in very different ways. So, what I'm sharing here is my perspective that I have observed over a period of time. And what I have come to understand is not that marriage is easy, but that it asks something of us. And it is important that we need to be aware of it. We need to capture it when that ask comes. At the same time, it is important to say one thing very clearly here. Not every situation is the same. There are relationships that are deeply painful, and there are relationships that may not be healthy or safe. When there is abuse, when there is repeated betrayal, when there are patterns that harm your well being, staying is not always the answer. Choosing a relationship should not mean losing yourself. And sometimes the most responsible choice is to step away. But in many relationships, the challenge is not danger, but it is discomfort. It is not harm, but it is misunderstanding. It is not toxicity, but it is unawareness. And perhaps this is where something important begins. Marriage is not just about what the other person does, it is also about how we respond, what we take ownership for, and how we show up. It's not about being perfect, but it is about how conscious we are when we are making that choice. I remember a simple moment after a long day. I remember a simple moment with my spouse. After a long day, something very small happened, a conversation that did not go the way I expected, a response that felt a little rude, a little distant. And in that moment, there was a choice to react, which means, to act immediately from what I was feeling in that moment without really understanding what was happening. The second choice that we can have is to withdraw. right? Which means to become silent, to become distant, and slowly it creates space instead of connection. And the third choice is to hold on, to replay the moment again and again so that, we feel the same way we felt when the event was happening, right? And the feeling could be of shame, guilt, anger, fear. It could be anything. And we can feel the same level, same every time, right? And we can carry that feeling forward also. And often, you know what, we are aware in that moment, but still we will continue. Also, right, there is another possibility, that is to pause, to ask, is this really what I think it is? Or is there something else behind it which I am not seeing? That pause, if you look at it, right, will not solve the problem immediately, will not solve everything immediately. And for me also, that pause, when I took it, right, it did not solve everything immediately. But what it changed was, it changed something important. It shifted the moment from reaction to understanding. Actually, it took me so many years to understand this, but I thought it is very important to communicate this right in this video so that it will really benefit the audience. And it shifted the moment from reaction to understanding. And over time, I began to notice something phenomenal. And that is, it is not always the big decisions that shape a relationship. It is these small moments where we choose to pause instead of reacting, where we choose to understand instead of assuming, where we choose to take responsibility instead of withdrawing. And this is where effort begins to take a different meaning. Not as something forced, but as something chosen. When you choose, it becomes your choice. That is the most important thing. It is about trying as long as there is space for growth. It is not about forcing, but not giving up too easily either. Because sometimes what we are building is not visible immediately. At the same time, what will happen over time is these small moments of awareness, these small acts of ownership begin to add up. Effort becomes understanding, understanding becomes trust, and trust becomes the foundation of something very meaningful. Maybe marriage is not just about finding the right person, but it is about learning how to be with another person over time, to choose, to pause, to take ownership, and to grow again and again. Because perhaps marriage is not something we build once, it is something we build every day, again and again, right? So that we outgrow the discomfort and create a beautiful relationship. Thank you so much for watching this video. If this video has given you valuable insights, I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Mind Ocular. As well, share your comments, share the insights in the comment section, as well as share this video with someone for whom this could be really helpful. Thank you very much for being here. Until we meet next time in another video. Bye.